Hi, I'm going to start with an acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Victoria and recognise their contributing connection to lands, waters and communities. We pay respects to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures and to elders past and present. My name is Katie Potter and I work as a collections manager for the National Trust of Australia Victoria, or NTAV. I'll be talking today about our collaboration with the National Trust in Western Australia and Queensland to purchase Vernon CMS, and also about a volunteer project that we designed to assist us with cataloguing and digitising our collections across Victoria. So since 1956, the National Trust in Victoria has worked with Victorian communities to protect their heritage, helping to shape our cities, towns and landscapes for the benefit of present and future generations. As an independent, not-for-profit organisation, our work is made possible by our members, visitors and partners. As the state's leading operator of heritage sites, our commercial activity, which aligns with our goal to deliver engaging, inspiring and memorable experiences for our visitors, supports our vital work to care for our places and advocate for the protection of Victoria's heritage. The Trust cares for and operates 39 properties across Victoria. Some of these properties house our art and heritage collections and are open for members of the public to visit, and others are leased to external organisations. The NTAV has 22 properties with provenanced items of movable cultural heritage. We have 20 sub-collections that are not provenanced to properties. In addition to our provenanced and property-based collections, we also have an interpretation and props collection. These items are not accessioned into the collection and are acquired for hands-on display, education and exhibition purposes. They are catalogued into Vernon so that we can track their condition and location. Over 30,000 objects are catalogued in Vernon. More are added every week as volunteers and staff continue to work on cataloguing projects across Victoria. The NTAV has an unknown number of uncatalogued objects, possibly tens of thousands, at our properties such as Federal Standard Printing Works, Lakeview and approximately half of Mooramong Homestead Collection. We also have outdoor collections at some properties such as horse-drawn carts, farming equipment and machinery, harness and tack, and other objects kept in outbuildings that have never been inventoried or catalogued. The 22 properties with provenanced items of movable cultural heritage include well-known Melbourne-based properties such as the Old Melbourne Jail, Ripponlea Estate and Como House and Garden, as well as many regional properties such as Macrae Homestead, Mulberry Hill on the Mornington Peninsula, Dow's Pharmacy, Lakeview and Federal Standard Printing Works in Chiltern, Golf Station in the Yarra Ranges, the Heights and Barwon Grange in Geelong and Mooramong in the Western District. The NTAV sub-collections that are not provenanced to our properties include our nationally significant costume and textile collection, currently housed at Labassa, a collection of watercolours by Charles Joseph La Trobe, the first Lieutenant Governor of Victoria, a collection of historic hand tools, and a collection of horse-drawn carriages, which are stored up in Beechworth at the moment. Now that I've given you an overview of the properties and collections that the NTAV cares for, I'll move on to our journey with Vernon CMS. Collection staff at the National Trust in Victoria, Western Australia and Queensland began discussing the joint purchase of Vernon CMS in 2019, and the purchase and data transfer occurred in 2020. 3 years later, Vernon's browser module was purchased. The Vernon browser is linked with our CMS module and enables us to publish select object records and data fields to the browser for public access online. We have control over what records and data we publish to the browser. Our Vernon CMS is hosted on a Microsoft Azure cloud-based platform that was set up by the NTAV. The National Trust in New South Wales were already using Vernon CMS when it was purchased for Victoria, Western Australia and Queensland, and discussions have begun with New South Wales to possibly join our system. Our goal is to develop a National Trust CMS. This will encourage greater collaboration and networking between trust states and territories. We will have more opportunities for cross-promotion, identifying relationships, between our collections and developing shared projects. We will also have greater opportunities for fundraising, grants, and support partnerships. The public will have access via the browser to Australia-wide collections, significantly increasing digital access to National Trust collections within Australia and worldwide. There are long-term economic benefits, of course, of having a shared system. Increased income generation through increased research and image use requests. And we have noticed a big increase in research inquiries now that our collections are accessible online. We can share online volunteer cataloguing and data enrichment projects, such as Victoria's Big Cat pilot project. So during 2023, the National Trust purchased Vernon Browser. Vernon Browser is an engaging way to demonstrate the work involved in caring for and preserving a significant art and heritage collection, and the importance of maintaining accurate record keeping through a collections management system. Our object records are constantly being reviewed, maintained, improved, and enriched. We did make the decision early on to purchase the browser and put our objects up no matter what state they were in. So there are a lot of records with no images. There are a lot of images that were taken early in the digital era that are very substandard. But we thought that if we waited until everything was perfect, it would be another couple of decades before we actually got everything up there. So it's very much a work in progress. For Victoria, projects like our volunteer Big Community Cataloguing Project, or Big CAT, are an important way for us to continually catalogue and digitise our collections. It's vital that this important work is supported to ensure that our significant collections are valued, shared and cared for into the future. So this is a preview of what you can expect to see when you visit the Vernon Browser landing page. Visitors to the browser will be able to search collections throughout Victoria, Western Australia and eventually Queensland. Our Big Community Cataloguing Project, or Big CAT, commenced in March 2023 as a pilot volunteer program to catalogue, digitise and increase online digital access to the NTAV's significant and diverse range of art and heritage collections. Key objectives of Big CAT were to significantly increase public online access through a focused volunteer program of cataloguing and digitising objects into Vernon, to offer a mutually beneficial program for people seeking a professional development opportunity to gain tangible museum skills, to create a supportive and inclusive volunteer program with a focus on social interaction and wellbeing, to create a platform for people to meet, connect and contribute to NTAV's vital work of preserving Australia's cultural heritage for future generations to learn from and enjoy, to increase avenues for engagement with NTAV's art and heritage collections, rich histories and collections, and to enhance our knowledge and understanding of the significance of our art and heritage collection. An experienced collections project assistant with a background in museum studies and experience with using Vernon was appointed to help develop and implement the program. A variety of approaches and components were trialled, selected and streamlined. Under management and supervision from the NTAV collections managers, including myself, and the collections project assistant coordinated all aspects of Big CAT, including volunteer recruitment, training, personalised support and program promotion. All Big CAT work is double-checked and reviewed by the collections project assistant. Constructive, supportive feedback is provided to volunteers throughout to ensure adherence to organisational and best practice standards. In the interests of maximising inclusivity, offering flexibility and increasing NTAV's volunteer pool, the program is designed to be accessible to participants as both a physical and remote interaction. Some participants meet at NTAV's head office at Tasma Terrace in East Melbourne and work on common days in teams. Others work remotely online from around Victoria and even some from interstate. Our Mulberry Hill photographic and art collection and our costume and textile collections have been the first two collections chosen for Big CAT to focus on. Some of the objects in these collections had already been catalogued in the 1980s and 90s, so had existing records in Vernon. Some did not have existing records and needed to be catalogued. Big CAT's focus is on digitising objects for uploading to Vernon CMS records. Tasks include image processing and editing, object handling, including physically numbering objects with their catalogue numbers, importing digital images into Vernon, updating or creating new records in Vernon, and research into key object areas to aid in our understanding of context, significance, and provenance. All information was entered into Vernon CMS to enrich the records. Our Big Cat volunteer team includes a diverse group: retired librarians and photographers, emerging artists and museum professionals, and passionate community members looking to learn more about NTAV's art and heritage collections. Many of the Big Cat volunteers are enrolled in or recent graduates from museum, history, or cultural studies streams, and are seeking training, practical skills, and experience to assist with their professional development. This invaluable experience will equip these participants with key skills which will benefit their applications for paid employment within the industry. All Big Cat volunteers are provided with step-by-step guides and training workshops to ensure they feel confident in their work, equipping them with the essential skills necessary for Big Cat. In addition, volunteers are supported through personalised feedback and guidance from Big Cat's Collections Project Assistant. They're provided with documents covering basic data entry procedures, information sheets explaining in detail advanced functions of Vernon, documents outlining the NTA shared cataloguing standards, which we developed with Western Australia and Queensland, access to the Vernon CMS help manual, and access to videos, Vernon videos on YouTube. Big Cat also facilitates connections between volunteers and NTAV staff, providing valuable opportunities for knowledge sharing, networking, and career advice. In addition, Big Cat volunteers can access opportunities to volunteer on other collections projects such as exhibition installations and preventative conservation cleaning across NTAV historic sites. In the 2 years since Big Cat began, over 1,500 costumes or costume accessories such as hats, bags, shoes, and fans have been photographed, as well as photographs, artworks and photo albums have been digitised. Over 500 new object records have been catalogued into Vernon, and over 500 new object records have been published online. Volunteers have kindly contributed over 1,500 hours of their time to this important work. Big Cat has proven itself to be such a beneficial and successful project that we're seeking a source of external funding to continue and expand the program. The NTAV is currently seeking financial supporters and partnerships to fund the salary of a 3-day-a-week collections project assistant role to enable us to widen the scope of the project to encompass other volunteer digitising and cataloguing projects that we have ongoing across the state. So volunteer teams are currently working on digitising projects at Ripponlea, Como, Gulf Station, Pollywoodside, Dow's Pharmacy and Mooramong. So that's in addition to the Big Cat project. Securing funding will also significantly contribute to the number of objects from NTAV's art and heritage collections that are digitally available online, ensuring this significant cultural heritage is preserved and remains publicly accessible.